I think there are a couple of challenges that are there, and the first challenge that I see as the biggest challenge is that of the wage thefts, where workers, especially down the supply chain in the informal economy and those engaged in homework, do not get their duly wages. The second issue is about the time that people work. There's a lot of intensification of work that's taking place. There's too much of overtime that is taking place. But the wages that are paid to these workers are again very minimal, and they don't even live up to the minimum wage. Often it's only a fraction of the minimum wage. The third challenge, which is quite important challenge, and it's very difficult to address, is the fear that has been generated among these workers about having to report any of these activities outside the work, for the fear that they might lose the job, or they might not get the contracts, or the fear that this whole work would disappear. So, that's something that organizations, especially organizing workers and unions, need to address. State plays a very important role, and state has to create an atmosphere which not only allows businesses to operate, but also allows that the workers get their due rights. And with regard to that, there are certain attempts that are being made, like in Brazil, where they have put into place a labor inspection system in the global supply chains, which tries to address whether the workers get the wages, how the overtime is being dealt with, and a whole lot of other issues. One cannot say that this is a success story kind of a thing, but what you see is that many of the workers in the supply chains get 2.5 times that of the minimum wages in some cases. You also see that hours per week worked is about 40 to 44 hours compared to other places where it's more than 60 hours of work. And you see that there is a lot more of compliance, and there is opportunity for these workers to even unionize. I guess one of the reasons why you see these impacts is also because you have a very strong labor union movement in Brazil, and you also have a government which is very responsive and responsible to the demands of the workers. And I think that plays a very important role in ensuring whether the workers in the supply chains get the due benefit or not. While state plays an important role, I do think that you need different or new forms of organization today to address the issue of how to organize workers in the global supply chains. Because one can go about organizing them at a sectoral level, but again you sort of in a sense try to make them into different groups or categories, and then try to organize them. One way of going about it could be trying to organize them as a community, like trying to have community-based groups which go to certain communities and tries to organize these workers as a whole. Because often these workers actually tread between different sectors. They don't often work only in one sector. They work in one sector for a couple of days and then move to another sector, which is dependent upon the kind of work or jobs that are available. So I think what can be done is to organize them as a group in a community, and to make them realize what their rights and empowerment is, and go about help them to fight for their rights.